Hey everybody, I'm SpectralStar and welcome back to Let's Watch Death Battle. Today, we've got Ant-Man versus Atom, Marvel versus DC. And I guess the only one that I really know about is Ant-Man. First time I saw Ant-Man was in the Marvel versus Zombies. I think it was Marvel Zombies. Not Marvel versus Zombies, it was just Marvel Zombies. It was really cool. Lots of what-if scenarios. Very dark timeline. But this should be good. Both of these characters, I guess, can enlarge and small each other to the point of death. And that's why we're watching this. So let's go ahead and get these big air muffs on. Also, I would like to say that I live stream every day. Just about around 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. If you would like to come watch me play Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild or Diablo or Elder Scrolls or anything like that, any kind of fun games. Heck, we even tried out Outlast Trials, and it was fun. It was so much fun. So if you're into those things, if you're into video games, and you like, live streams, come check me out right here on this channel. Thank you. Had to get that promotion out there. I never do that. I always forget because I'm stuck in my ways.
Ant-Man, Marvel's founding member of the Avengers.
The Atom, DC's legendary Mighty Might.
Good things come in small packages.
The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Oh my God.
We're just trying to get these out of the way.
He's Wiz and I'm
Well,
Boomstick.
And it's our job
there's
to analyze
probably
their
a
weapons,
million
armor, and skills
fun
to find out
jokes that
who
they've
would
got
win
lined up.
a death battle. Did you know that ants can lift 50 times their own body weight? That'd be like if you lifted a car straight over your head.
I did, thanks to my fun fact of the day calendar. Also, Hawaiian pizza was invented in Canada yesterday.
Well, I bet your calendar didn't tell you that Dr. Henry Pym, aka Hank, was considered a genius at a very early age. By 3 years old, doctors declared that he was smarter than both his parents combined.
He eventually majored in biochemistry and became one of the most successful
Wait a second, he was
scientists
blue.
in his field. He had big ideas about shrinking the size of cargo to reduce shipping
Why was he
costs.
blue?
Logistics.
All of which made him a laughingstock in the scientific community and sparked a long-lasting insecurity and need to prove himself.
But he did it. He developed a working serum.
I feel it.
He went
I
from
feel that.
laughing stock to Christmas stocking. The much better stuck, right behind Bean and Live.
So, naturally, he tested the serum on himself, like any self-respecting scientist would, and shrank
dump it on
down
my
to the
head.
size of an ant.
And just when things started going south, a sweet little ant, let's call her Aunt Hathaway, swooped in and led Hank safely back to his lab where he could return to full size.
Look at that face.
Then
Ah!
harnessed the serum and became the superhero,
Ah.
Ant-Man. Along with his new identity came a fascination in entomology, which makes total sense. Ants are fascinating.
Did you know that ants can talk to each other in a bunch of different ways? Through touch, sound, or even sharing information by barfing at each other.
It's actually called trophallaxis, and they're not barfing per se. It's more like passing food mouth to mouth.
Gross! Hank figured out how to communicate with his new pets, not by barfing, but by creating a cybernetic helmet that mirrors an ant's antenna. And he's even developed genuine relationships with some ants, like Ulysses S. Ant here.
But he didn't stop there.
What?
Hank developed a lot of amazing tech like a stinger pistol that focuses his bioenergy into a stun beam, and image-inducing camouflage to mask himself as an ant. It worked so well it fooled Reed Richards, the smartest guy on the planet.
He also built
Wow.
a suit that runs on that nifty serum he made back in his lab. It lets him shrink thanks to the newly discovered Pym particles, named after himself. Ah, classic Hank.
And the Pym
Why not?
particle is the
Why
key
not?
to
Why
unlocking
the
the
hell not?
fundamental constants of the quantum
You're gonna
mechanics at play
invent
here.
something. Name it
They
after
enable
yourself.
you to decrease the distance between atoms.
That way everybody
However,
has
in
to
order
know
do
that you
you'd have
did
to
it.
change the Bohr
You'd be
radius,
like, why does
the
they call it
ratio of
Pym
electron
particles?
mass to
And you
the
look it
distance
up.
the electrons orbit an
Pym.
atom's nucleus.
Guy created it.
Of course. Like how when you make a bagel pizza, you can't fit the whole pizza on the bagel. Believe me, I've tried. It's too small. You just gotta put less on.
Sure, Boomstick. So the Pym particles are actually displacing mass to an alternate dimension in order to maintain that ratio.
Oh, it's like having a second bagel to put the rest of your pizza on. I get it.
But if that were
Damn.
true, he shouldn't be able to punch with full-size strength if he has less mass.
And he's definitely lighter, because otherwise he'd crush the sweet antsy
Yeah, that makes no
rides
sense.
like Vincent Van Gogh here.
His mass is being
Why
replaced with
are you
massive
still
trios,
doing that?
But that doesn't adequately
Is that
explain how
real?
he can have
Did they
less
really
mass and
rename them
seemingly more
after,
mass
like,
at the same time.
Sure it does, Wiz.
famous
Trust him and his particles.
old dudes?
Look at the guy. He's explaining the whole thing while wearing a lab coat. What's more trustworthy than that? You're the exception.
You think you understand this?
Of course. He's small but strong. You said something about a boar, so I guess you wanted ham on that pizza, but I already made the pizza.
Will you take that coat off?
No.
Regardless, there is virtually no limit to Hank's ability to shrink. He can go beyond subatomic down to the underspace, a plane of existence below all realities in the Marvel Universe.
And Hank has literally changed his biology. He's rewritten his own chemical makeup to prevent anyone else from changing his size. And he's used PIM particles so much, he's
How?
now got an energy field around him that lets him change the size of people or objects on the fly.
Are you
He'll
shitting
touch her
me?
By straight up firing PIM particles in the air.
He's never shy
Oh
about
my
using them either.
God.
He eventually supplied his wife, Janet Van Dyne, with some PIM tech to become the Wasp, his partner in crime fighting.
The two ended up rubbing shoulders with A-listers like Thor, Iron Man, and the Hulk to take down Loki. Ant-Man and the Wasp were actually the ones that captured him and pitched the idea of
Iron
forming
Man
the
in the gold
Avengers.
suit.
Unfortunately, Hank's insecurities started to creep back in, and he felt that if he wanted to keep up with the big heroes, he was going to have to think bigger.
Enter a bunch of those PIM-powered alter egos like Yellow Jacket and Giant Man, where he can grow anywhere from 12 feet tall to so big he can enter the overspace, the polar opposite of the underspace.
There he met
The heck?
Eternity, who called him Earth's Scientist Supreme. Something he won't let you forget.
Hank
I'm
pushed
the
himself
Scientist
to these
Supreme.
insane heights, even though he knew the strain on his body could be fatal.
But he simply didn't care and kept pushing himself. Thus, his greatest and worst creation was born, Ultron.
Yep, all the Tin Man Tron was created by Hank, not Tony like the movies.
Yeah.
But the mass murder butt thing turned out pretty much the same.
I heard
And
about
swinging a
that
miss
so much
there.
from people who
The
are like
fallout from
diehard
Ultron
comic
left Hank
fans.
in a bad place, to say the least. His guilt made him feel like an utter failure, and that his best work was behind him. This led Hank to do unspeakable things.
A real low-life move. And even though poor mental health doesn't excuse this behavior, it was clear that Hank needed help. He suffered multiple mental breakdowns,
Good
endured
God.
the physical toll of the PIM particles, and had bipolar disorder that went undiagnosed for years.
So Hank finally did the best thing he could. He acknowledged his problems, got the help he needed, and committed to self-improvement.
And with that help, Hank slowly started making things right. He rebuilt the West Coast Avengers, gave
Is that
Scott
Hank from a
Lang his
video game?
blessing to become the second Ant-Man, and finally defeated Ultron.
He created a backdoor Trojan infiltration code to defeat Ultron that was so advanced
A
it went on to
backdoor
replicate
Trojan.
and evolve all on its own to create a new species made up of artificial intelligence.
They don't call him the god of modern AI for nothing. Hank has showed over and over again that he's an integral part of the Marvel Universe.
Not just by ways of his scientific contributions or victories in battle, but by proving that heroes come in all shapes and sizes.
Oh boy.
Ray Palmer was born your average human-sized person. He grew up in the Northeast, studied physics at Ivy University, and did everything Mama and Papa Palmer told him to do. Probably.
Everything was pretty typical for Ray until one fateful night when he took a walk to take his mind off a frustrating experiment and saw a meteor fall from the sky.
He ran off to the crash and found himself a life-changing piece of a white dwarf star, and immediately started messing around with it. Who wouldn't?
He discovered that he could focus ultraviolet rays through it and shrink inanimate objects. There was just one problem. When he shrunk things, they exploded. Every time.
I do
Oh,
not
man.
see the problem. Sounds like he found a foolproof way of blowing stuff up. Case closed.
Ray was determined to figure out how to shrink objects without blowing them up. But first, he went on a hike with his nature club. And as a fellow scientist,
Like you do.
I have to question his priorities.
But hey,
Yes.
it seems to work for him. I support it. Different hikes for different mics, am I right?
I mean,
While
you got to
in a
get away
cave,
from the
ceiling
workplace every
suddenly
once in a while,
collapsed,
you know.
trapping everyone
Smell
inside.
the
After
smell the
searching high
flowers.
and low for another exit, Ray found a small opening and had an idea. He could try to shrink himself down and get help. even if it meant he might explode before he got the chance.
But he didn't explode. I hope this story has a happy ending at least.
Perplexed, Ray determined there must have been something special about him that made him uniquely immune to the explosive
Please be
fate.
wrong.
Something super scientifically convenient that we never get any more information on.
Even his gums
he
are
got
white.
to work and created himself a suit to harness the power of the white dwarf star and became the Atom.
Adam uses
that's
the
pretty
white
cool.
dwarf fragment to decrease his size while having control over his density, which makes a lot of sense considering that white dwarfs have the mass of a star, like the sun, but their volume is more like the Earth's, making them among the densest objects in space.
Just a teaspoon of the stuff could weigh up to 100 tons. That's one strong spoon.
Wow.
When Adam shrinks and shifts his weight, he's actually sending his extra
I love
mass
the
to a
science.
dimension called the mass zone.
Where Adam could maybe live forever. At one point, Ray's apprentice Ryan Choi was murdered by Deathstroke, but willed some of his mass to the mass zone and was able to survive in that dimension. So these guys can potentially cheat death, but would be stuck there without any outside help.
But from one scientist to another, what's most impressive is Ray's creation of the Bio Belt. That's what allows Adam to use the power of the white dwarf and shrink while maintaining any weight, from immaterial to his full 180 pounds. There's even been times where it's stated that he was able to become almost as dense as a white dwarf star itself for a few seconds.
The belt is also how he can travel through phone lines or through the air, on currents or light beams. Over time, Ray has spread out the white dwarf power to other parts of his suit, and now the bio belt acts as a utility belt for his shrunken weapons and tech. It also prevents his size or mass from being altered by any outside forces.
And while he can only increase his size back to his natural 6 feet in height, his ability to shrink is near limitless. He can travel between subatomic space to the microverse, the foundation of all reality in the DC universe, where atoms become the size of planets.
Typically, he can increase back to his normal size with such force he can smash through diamonds. So if Adam increases his size too much while still within the microverse, he could blow up the entire fabric of reality from the inside out.
Shrinking down to that size means that he can shrink small enough to rearrange atoms themselves.
Yep, Ray can take individual molecules and rapidly expand them to cook up a small nuclear blast in the palm of his hand.
Jeez, what the
Ray
heck?
Palmer. I just got that.
He also once disarmed a bomb by rearranging its atoms. At that size, he can move at the velocity of light. So fast and so randomly, he basically acted as a barrier between any and all possible atom combinations. But come on, there's no scientific explanation here for him to have superhuman senses or awareness to comprehend being everywhere at the same time.
Ah, it makes total sense. If you're small enough, you can fit in almost everything, everywhere, all at once. Like how you can fit an entire pizza into a calzone.
What?
And then you have a whole pizza everywhere inside the calzone. Man, I get it. Science is pizza.
No! Science is all I have! Why are you doing this to me?
On top of all of Ray's amazing inventions and abilities, he's also got some more
It's like
classic
a
weapons,
turducken.
like a laser blaster and a freaking sword he used to fight a giant crocodile.
Chicken inside of a
Relative to
duck.
its size.
That was when Ray
Inside
was
of a
believed
turkey.
to be dead, but was actually just stuck at 6 inches
People eat
tall
that.
and stranded in the Amazon rainforest, where he
Not me,
encountered
but
an
people
alien
eat that.
race known as the Catarthans.
And get this, he ended up leading a rebellion
I mean,
against
it's
their
probably
tyrant
delicious.
king, and
I don't know,
became
it
the
just
ruler
feels
of
kinda
all
weird.
the Kardashians.
And his heroism didn't stop there. The Atom was a very well-respected hero, and was even asked to join the Justice League of America shortly after it was formed.
He fought alongside Batman and his best bud, Hawkman. And you don't fight with those guys without picking up a thing or two.
Impressive combat skills aside, Adam's greatest contribution
He's
to the
Olympic-level
legendary team
gymnast
was
and he knows
always
judo.
his incredible
Okay.
mind.
He once created kryptonite inside of Superman by realizing
What?
that if he gathered up enough Kryptonian protons, they would eventually become radioactive.
While stranded in limbo, Adam realized that if the Flash sped up the rate of a nuclear reaction's stellar evolution to exhaust its core, they could turn a fire demon into a black hole and use it as a wormhole to get back to Earth.
What
He's a
in the
brilliant,
sweet
hard-working, and determined scientist that
hell?
never stops working on a problem until he's found a solution.
There's
I mean,
very
if I
creative
figured
ways
out
to-
how to blow stuff up as well as he did, I would have stopped
That's
right
why these
there.
comics
I'm the
went
hero that blows
so
stuff up.
big
Wouldn't even need
back
to
in the
change
day.
my name.
He's thinking
Ray
about stuff
Palmer
like
lived
this.
the
The
dream,
writers
going
were
from research scientist
geniuses.
to legendary superhero. He picked up the pieces presented to him and built
I mean, it feels
something
like they were
greater
ripping
than the
each other
sum of
off
its
at the same
parts.
time. But
Who
you know,
knew
whatever.
This tiny
Gotta do what you gotta do to
with
stay on
massive
top.
brains would have just as much brawn to back it up.
I mean, I'm not gonna rip somebody off if I.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the
Here I
data
am
through
watching a
all
death battle.
possibilities.
Oh well.
It's time for a death battle!
It's not really ripping somebody off. I feel like maybe it is. I don't know.
You should pick on someone your own size, relatively speaking.
How did you do this? It's laced with a
It's
particle
the
I've
Street
never
Fighter
seen
2
before.
car.
They're called PIM particles, and I'm Hank Pym, Scientist Supreme.
He's completely
You should
jacked and
not.
ripped. Holy hell. I love this. This is pretty cool.
You're using pieces of a white dwarf star? That's cute.
Everything we needed already existed. You just needed to be smart enough to put the pieces together. Scientist Supreme?
Burrito Supreme.
Did you know that at any given moment, there are about 2.5 million ants under your feet?
I mean, that makes sense, but why are you bringing that up right now?
Yeah. And a damn ant army. It just fucking builds a sword out of nothing. I'm not a machine gun. Just gun them all down.
Took you long enough. Okay, let's try this. I'll hack his belt. You lay low and let me know what you find. Huh?
Yeah,
Nice
for
try.
me. Nice try. This is
I
dope.
search every electron path in his gun and study their probability wave functions. I just might be able to.
Oh boy. So they're gonna be huge for the macroverse? What the hell's going on here? The microverse. Macroverse.
What's happening? He must be reaching his limit. If we
Uh-oh.
don't get out of here quick, he's gonna destroy all of reality. Now, my pets!
No!
You have your tricks and your tools, but I created something beyond the limits of human existence. I operate on a scale you can't even comprehend.
Overspace.
How?
You can't be afraid to think big.
KO!
Ant-Man and Atom both had many answers to each other's abilities and arsenals. Both were able to store various weapons at a shrunken state, both were trained in judo, and they both could obviously keep up with each other's ability to shrink at will.
Though there
judo
was
must have
one
been the
small
thing.
Adam couldn't answer to. The ants! Hank's bond with his pets lent him some small advantages, and Ray just didn't have enough anti-ant tools in his bio belt.
But in Adam's defense, the fact that he could punch with a fist packed with all of his mass meant that a close-up fight, while small, would leave Hank with few options since he can only punch with his normal human strength.
Even still, all Ant-Man would need to do is keep his dissed ants with the help of his insect confidants and devise another plan of ant-tack. Something Hank has no shortage of.
For instance, Ant-Man could alter Adam's size thanks to the PIM particle field he generates. Hank would just need to stall long enough to remove or disable Adam's biobelt, and he's had no trouble hacking enemy tech in the past.
But even with the bio belt busted, it wouldn't stop Adam's ability to shrink since the white dwarf power is contained throughout his suit. Destroying the belt only meant that Ant-Man could alter Adam's size.
Whereas Hank has literally rewritten his own biology to prevent outside size alteration. And while Adam's abilities are definitely impressive, they are limited, and Ant-Man simply aren't, at least by comparison. Hank could always match Ray's size or just take the fight to the overspace where he would have the edge, both physically and mentally.
The overspace can mess with the human mind, but we've seen that Hank can handle it.
But if the Scientist Supreme is really so smart, why didn't he just immediately go up Adam's butt and blow him up from the inside?
What's wrong with you, Wiz? Aren't you a fellow man of science?
This is the meanest thing you've ever done to me.
Adam sized up Ant-Man, but in the end, he was the one who had to say, Uncle.
The winner is Ant-Man.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We have a new Death Battle releasing
Hey, Ben.
every 2 weeks this year. And click the join button to get new perks and extra content. Planet level members even see Death Battles before anyone else, so don't miss out.
Okay, next time, let's go. Dark Souls versus the Skyrim guy. Oh, okay. Dark Souls versus Skyrim. Chosen Undead versus Dragonborn. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, we ain't kidding around no more. Oh my god. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, season 10 got off to a very good start. I love the monologue in the fight. They were talking. It was like a storyline. They actually made the fight last longer. It was fun to watch. Enjoyable. Very good start. Hopefully they've got more on the way that's better than the first episode. And hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.